Okay, this might be weird, but I feel like I want to share it because I think this is such a great example of how therapy works. I was working on cleaning my leather shoes with one of our family friends, and he had asked me to bring them over so that he could teach me how to do them. And I just thought, like, all right, why not? I've never cleaned my shoes. I've had them since probably like 2012. But I was like, I really want to kind of learn how to like clean my shoes. So it turned into a whole process, right? Like it turned into like, I think I spent at least like 2.5 days doing this process, which I just thought was so interesting. I was expecting that I'm going to go there, I'm going to polish up my shoes, and it's going to be done. But my shoes were like all cracked and, like had all kinds of like, scuffs on them and all of that. And I guess I just never thought about how to clean shoes. Like I had only known to polish them. But I go over and he's like, okay, first we have to condition the shoes because they've gotten absolutely no nurturing. And I was kind of like, I didn't realize I needed to nurture my shoes, but okay. So I go over there and I put a whole bunch of lotion on the shoes. And then he's like, now you have to leave it alone. Because my understanding was I'm going to put some lotion and I'm going to wipe it off. And then it's going to like quickly, I guess, turn soft. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but that's kind of what I thought to myself. Sorry, I had to come inside because the mosquitoes outside were crazy. It's October in Atlanta and the mosquitoes are not going anywhere. But anyway, so I put lotion on my shoes. I had to come back the next day. I had to wipe all the lotion down. And then he was like, okay, now we're going to put the polish on the shoes. And it's going to be you rubbing in the polish, not with a brush, but like with your fingers. And you're going to make sure that it gets in all of the little cracks, all of the little scuffs, all of that area that was not cute, so that it can actually, soak in the color again. Which I thought, I was like, I don't understand why I can't just like quickly brush it. And he was like, this is a process. It's going to take time. You cannot rush it. And if you try to rush it, it's just not going to look like how you want it to look. And so I was like, okay, great. So I took a finger at a time, like rubbing it in the polish and then like putting it all on my shoes and stuff like that. And then I had to leave it alone again, which, can I just tell you, is so frustrating for me because, like I said, I'm a person who likes to move quickly through the process. So I had to wait, and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And then like, again, he's like, it's going to take at least a couple of hours. And so we have to leave it alone. So I come back after a couple of hours and then I have to now like polish the shoes, which is the part that I thought that's all I need to do. So I'm polishing the shoes and they're like shiny and I'm like, this is good enough, right? And he's like, no, actually we're not done. We still have to put like the wax coat on it. And so, and that's what makes it really shiny. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I had to, again, like get a little cloth, rub all the wax onto my shoe and like wait for it to soak in. And then it was like putting a little bit of water and then like, kind of buffing it out and buffing it out. And it took so long. He was like, putting pressure on it is not what's going to make it shiny, but doing it repeatedly is what makes it shiny. And I was just like, okay, like this is a lot of work. I was not expecting that. I wanted to quickly put pressure and be done with it, and that's not going to work. And so anyway, I like completely like, spent a lot of time like, making it shiny. And it finally got to the point that I thought it was going to get to after I just like quickly brushed it and put some stuff on it, which I feel like that's kind of what the therapeutic process is like, right? Like I told him when I first like brought my shoes, I was like, they have character, right? Like this is how shoes are. And he was like, it's not character. You haven't taken care of them. And I was just like, I feel like that's kind of like what happens with my clients where, they come in and they're like, well, this is my personality. This is my character. And I'm like, actually, a lot of it is like the trauma that you experienced that you have kind of understood to be who you are. And I wonder what would happen if we like took off their trauma, if we kind of move the trauma through your nervous system, and just kind of hung out with like what's really truly underneath. So we dust off the stuff that you've been told by other people. We dust off the stuff that you believe about yourself. We dust off these ideas that, whatever they might be, like not super hard. And then we like bring in a lot of softness and gentleness, right? Towards you, towards the process, towards you taking care of yourself. What our trauma tells us is that we are hard, and that we cannot like get to the softness that we need because someone else has to do that for us. And it's really, we have to do it for ourselves. Like we have to bring in the softness that we've never received, because as adults, no one else can do that for us, which is quite sad. But we have to believe that we deserve it first for someone else to do it for us. So then the process of like really allowing it to settle, right? Like we bring in a thing that happens in therapy, and then we give it time to just like settle down. We don't just continue to rush through it, because that's just not going to work. Just like the leather, right? Like we're going to need to soak in what is happening. And then I also think it's important to periodically like look at the progress that you're making and be like, wow, like I started out at this point and now I'm over here where, like I didn't think I could get, because I was like constantly thinking about getting to the end, which is what I was doing. And like taking the time with it and doing it repeatedly, and like really kind of noticing like how it goes from like this old looking shoe to like this shiny situation is kind of like, the whole point of therapy. Like your shiny situation is you making better decisions for yourself, you making better choices for yourself, you being able to say no, you being able to say yes, you being able to notice what your needs are, right? Like that's the place that we're trying to get to, where you can make the decisions that are best for you. And we want to just jump from like the start to the end without really taking the time. And what this process taught me is like, it just really takes a lot of time to build up on the work that you're doing. It takes a lot of settling, it takes a lot of processing, and it takes a lot of just holding space for that to happen, and that you just cannot rush the process. Like I know that from my own experience in therapy as well, but I just thought like this was like such a weird experience to have with like cleaning my shoes, to like how much it feels like therapy. So I really want to thank the person that taught me how to clean my shoes and really take care of them. And then he at the end said, which I also just think is so wonderful, he said, now all you have to do, you never have to put in that amount of work ever again, because all you're doing from now on is you are just going to manage what you have built. You're just going to take care of what you've already done. And if it gets in water, or if it gets another scuff, yeah, you have to put in a little bit more effort, but you're never going to have to go back to like where you started in the first place. Anyway, I thought it was like so much like therapy, and I just wanted to share it, and I hope it's helpful for you.